I'm dyed in the money. I am thinking about people who don't speak correctly and they don't do things with money that they should do. And then they do things with money they shouldn't do. And then you don't know who I am, and you are in a very long life of 45 years of the life of myself. And that's not really why you're alive to yourself. You may not know, but I alive everyone who's not myself, and I don't have everything I need. While everyone who's not myself is alive, because that's my leverage to decease myself out of the formed world. There's something wrong with what happened to me in the 99-cent store, Charleston and Maryland Parkway, Las Vegas, Nevada. I was hit in the face by somebody who was in the aisle of the store that I was in. I shouted inside of the store, and this female, I guess she was a youth, maybe between 15 and 17 years old, approximately. She came at me, and then I didn't see it anymore. She hit me in the face so many times I can't report it self exactly, but it took a time until she stopped, and then when she was ran out the door, it stopped, and my nose bleeding was all over the store's floor. So I cleaned up my own nosebleed of myself, and I cleaned up what was on the floor of the nosebleed. And I didn't have nose bleeding on my clothes. No, it went from my nose straight down to the floor, and it didn't stain my clothes, but it was all over the floor. And I asked if I could have paper towels from the 99-cent store, just sells them, and can I clean up the floor? And they did give me paper towels to clean up the floor. So I cleaned it up myself, and I had uh, an extra, like a wet wipe, like for cleaning your hands. I used a wipe that's used to clean your hands that's moist, wet, and I wiped up the floor, and then it didn't show that there was any blood on the floor. But I said to somebody who was waiting to walk me out of the store, um, I said, the floor needs to be mopped, but I can't mop the floor myself. And he did walk me out of the store as security. And he's due to find the girl who hit me in the face, because I did acknowledge that was my blood on the floor. Well, I don't know how to tell you this, but you're angry with myself and you don't have that paid for. I know that I am elsewheres in God at this time. It's not due to know you in the money. The security guard, blackmail adultery in 99-cent store, where I was executed by my order. I did die standing up. What are you don't actually fear anything. I'm as much God as you're ever gonna see in this place. This world is really not my world. It's like this because of the entity named Joel Cohen. He's not alive. He has a dung genital deceased the wrong way. And I'm in what's left of the house he used to occupy, much like you occupy the houses and every other structure and the cars. And he's just not alive right here. And you walked me out of the store as this blackmail adultery security guard. And he did stay behind, as far as I know, at least until I left the parking lot. I walked to the CVS pharmacy from the 99-cent store at Charleston and Maryland Parkway. So I walked up to it's. I went down Charleston, like left. I went left on Charleston, and it was on the right side of Charleston, near the Albertsons supermarket. And I went in there and reported the nose injury to the pharmacy has, what do you call that? Well, it's a place where you can see the pharmacist without an appointment. It's just walk up to it. I didn't tell them what happened because I didn't tell them I was hit in the face. But I just stood around that area and I just waited, but nobody really knows me there. And that was just how I reported it to the pharmacy. But it's a miracle that I could even walk there. And then I didn't want to come back here because the property's in dispute the wrong way. And I can't get keys for anything from anywhere in an emergency like that. And you owe the keys to myself that I could live someplace else because I got hit in the face and I died standing up and I got a place to live that way. And you didn't pay out a key for that. That was in the year 2022, at the end of the year. And you don't afford to know that I am deceased that way. I am going to leave the life completely empty of leverage. You're going to have no leverage. And then you're not allowed back in alive because you don't alive this way. You're not myself. And you are carrying the burden of that. You're putting the pressure on me that I have to live through impossible minds and I have to live impossible physical circumstances. I don't have the material life that I need because you take away everything that's mine to myself that my God gave me and you just say it's not yours to myself and you go away with it and my God doesn't really move the leverage again because you did that. You have to turn in something stolen to jail. If you occupy something stolen and say it's yours to yourself and you consume it, then you don't have a death on yourself from me. I will die out of that you did that. But I've been living in the hunger and need and a homeless condition in alive for 45 years of alive, and you don't know where this is going. I am putting you out of myself, and you're going to some place where you're not allowed to be here anymore. And you weren't really allowed to be here, but you're supposed to pay for that. You're here, that you would ascend to live someplace without a penis genital. And I don't have you in any genitals because I don't have genitals on myself again after being here. But I was putting you out of myself. That means I don't alive the formed world for you, even though you are a part of myself. I don't have leverage to alive you. You don't have leverage to alive yourself because you're not a thief, because you're a good person, because you're not going to jail. That's for criminals. You're a good person, and um, you're very well behaved on money in the public, and you're a good driver, and you pay your speeding tickets, fines, and on time, and you have a family, and you're a careful driver of other passengers in the car, or if you're a good passenger in the car, you only go in the car when it's parking and somebody says get in the car, otherwise you don't go anywhere because the car is not moving. And I would just like you to know that you all don't have it paid for, that you know who I am. I am God deceased here. I am Merry Christmas. And you go shopping is so outrageous because you're not allowed to shop on Christmas, because Christmas is for me to give a death on myself. And you need to be deceased to myself on Christmas. And you go shopping on Christmas and you pay all the prices, charges, and you have receipts. Like you all work everywhere. The cash registers, receipts. That's for if you have the key to the cash register. You need a key to have a receipt from a store. Otherwise, you have to be myself, and I am myself. I have the receipts that are not, you're not due to give me a receipt because alive is how I pay for everything. But you want me to pay for your conflicts of interest. Why do you have any conflicts over myself? That's you just being not aware of who I am because you've done so many things wrong. You don't go to jail on time and die in your prejudice of having done something wrong. You went to jail and you died. Instead, you want to do something wrong, but you excuse yourself in public. Everybody is causing you to do something wrong. By that, they consume it, and then you get angry, and then you're mean, and then you make babies, and then you're angry, and you don't want to do things for the baby, and you kill it endlessly, and you have animals in the house, and you kill them endlessly. And then you kill the house with the animal, you kill the house with the baby, you kill the house with things that are due outside the house. You don't know what's due outside the house when, because I can't just say it's a baby, it's due outside the house, and if you see a baby, you put it out on the front lawn. No, it's that you have to know how alive is aliving, and you need to see that God is Himself, and He is speaking with Himself in alive as alive, and you can't just say absolute something or absolutely not something else. It's true that you have to see God in everywhere, and you have illegal genitals makes it so that you're not supposed to talk over your genitals. If you talk over your genitals, you don't see God aliving Himself as alive. You see that you are wrong in the head, and what you see through your eyes is wrong. What you hear with your ears is wrong, and what you say with your mouth is wrong to other people. And that's really just you being wrong in the order because you're past the point of being homeless on a point that's about yourself and your God, that you're not in jail on a point that's about yourself with your God, and you didn't die on time out of the address. You can't die in an address. You have to be homeless, and then you have to be in prison because homeless still is around the addresses. In prison, that's when you have to be deceased out of address, and then you would die in the prison on the point that you are yourself seeing God and alive. And I realize you have illegal genitals makes it unlikely, but you are speaking over your illegal genitals, and I have to say, who hired you, who sent you to speak over your own illegal genital penis? That's where I can't help you.